Scott, I'm stuck. I'm trying to grow my business, and whatever I'm trying doesn't work. This conversation happens with me at least once a week or every other week, and you need to know the root cause and how to fix it. I'm Scott Sylvan coming to you live for Consulting Secrets on a perfect day to talk about business growth and log jams, and a fantastic day to talk about you. I'm coming to you live from Haleiwa, Oahu. Today is one of those, let's put on some asbestos underwear types of conversations because there are implications. And I'm going to shed the light on a problem that you may be facing in your business. This is something that happens in small businesses. It also happens in divisions. So if people are like, I got a big company, it's happening somewhere inside of your organization. If it hasn't happened today, it will happen in the future. And I want to give you the insights of what I've discovered to really help you. And so this video isn't meant to be negative. It's meant for you to be like, hey, I'm aware now. And now that I'm aware, it's my responsibility. I've got a friend, John Benson, and he has this saying, it's not your fault, but now that you know, it's your responsibility. And this is one of those conversations where once we ring the bell, there is no unringing it. And so today we're going to go through a couple of different exercises, and we're going to ask some really tough questions because they're tough. And so what I want you to do is I want you to draw out your org chart, in whatever way that you draw it out. And in this org chart that I have described, there's three managers. There's three key people inside of the organization. You might have 5, you might have 7. And so the first thing that you're going to do is you're just going to make some really simple questions. You're going to go through is position number 1. Do they have the skills, the talents, and can they deliver? Right? Yes. And we're going to go to position number 2. Do they have the skills, the talents, and can they deliver? Yes. Go to position number 3. Do they have the skills, the talents, and can they deliver? Yeah, but, okay, this is probably the person that's causing the logjam and the breakage in your business, okay? And let's go down the list. Do they fight with everybody? Yeah, Scott, they fight with everybody. How did you know that? Are they the logjam? Yeah, Scott, how did you know that? Do they withhold information from you? I don't know. Yes, they do. So if you have somebody in your roles inside of your organization that you cringe when they come into a meeting, you know that they're not going to follow through, you know that they're not going to bring the heat when it comes to doing what needs to be done, this is what I'm going to refer to as your number 3. So your number 1 and number 2, I'm not really going to say anything about. It's your number 3. And so here is what happens is this number 3 feels like it's their role and responsibility to protect the company, which is a cool thing to do, but that switch that goes from 1 to 10 is at a 50. And so what ends up happening is they withhold information, they create a logjam, and then they fight with everybody as a smokescreen because they're not getting the work done that they need to get done, or they're not doing the work the way that it needed to be done from a standard operating procedure. So I'm going to tell you a story. About 3 years ago, got called to work inside of an organization. Scott, we need some consulting help. We're stuck. We want to grow. So sit down, agree to a agreement, contract, whatever you want to call it. And we went for a year. And so we have our first meeting. And I constantly look inside of an organization for who's the number 3. And so meeting starts, person shows up late, has every excuse in the book, just had a major meltdown with one of the employees, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I found my number 3. So sure enough, we go through the first quarter and nothing that we have developed has been put in place, right? This is hand holding at its best, and I'm not good at that. If you need massive hand holding, I'm the wrong dude. We got a game plan, go, right? I'm not if you hey, I got questions and I'm not quite sure, different story. But if you want me to implement it, I don't do that. Okay, I'm not the buttons guy. I'm here's how you do it. Here's the people you need inside of your organization. So go to the owners and say, hey, listen, we're 25% of the way through the agreement that we have. I just want to point a couple of things out. We have initiatives and they are slated to go. They are in any other organization, these things would be launched. We've got a launch window. We've got to get this launch going. We're 2 months behind on where we need to be. We've got everything lined out. Let's go. And so, okay, Scott, we'll get it going. Punchline to the joke. We get to the 3rd quarter of the agreement and nothing's been done. And number 1 and number 2 on the org chart, they're frustrated. They want to quit. They want to leave. They're tired of the games. And number 1 and number 2 were exceptional at what they did. They are the type of person you want in that role. And to an extent, some of their bonus money at the end of the year relied upon number 3. Number 3 had control issues. Number 3 would not delegate. Number 3 was not on team winning. Number 3 was on their team, meaning it was their own team. They were playing for themselves. And so the larger event of this story is you probably have somebody in your organization that is this number 3. This is where the hard part of the story comes in. They're probably a family member. They're probably a trusted friend, or it's probably somebody who's been a long-term employee, and you're trying to do right by them. The problem is it's like the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, they are not ever going to come around. 80% of the time, they don't want to play ball. It's a control issue for them. They don't want to engage. They don't want to be a part of what needs to be done. And so this is what I'm going to refer to as the salvage. Companies will go through 3 to 6 months of trying to salvage the relationship of the family member. They will try to salvage 3 to 6 months of going through the relationship of the friend or the trusted employee, sometimes longer. And then what happens is that person leaves. They either get asked to leave, or they go, peace out, Girl Scout, I'm done. I don't want any part of this. And then new person comes in who's got, let's go down the list. They've got the skills, the talents, and they can deliver. And all of a sudden, it feels like there's momentum again. All of a sudden, it feels like something magical just happened inside of the company. And what it comes down to is that person was an emotional vampire for your entire team. That person was the employee that nobody wanted to deal with. So problems weren't brought up because people know that they're not going to get fixed. Issues are not taken care of. Contracts, processes, people are not taken care of it in the time that they need to be, because this person is such a difficult person to deal with. Your number 3, it can be so difficult to deal with that they're difficult because it's a control issue. They know that if they're difficult, they can control the situation. I want to let you know, I know we went over a lot. I know it has the ability to help your business. If this is you, you've got some decisions to make. I'm not your doctor, lawyer, marriage counselor, therapist, or priest, but you really have some decisions to make. There's probably talent on the open market that would not give you this much grief. If it's a family member, you could probably just pay them to stay home, right? If you're like, I don't want to fire my kid, my niece, my nephew, my parent, my brother, my sister. They're probably making a pretty good wage. They're probably making a pretty good salary. Find a way to pay them to get them out of the business. Everybody around is going to say it's not fair until they realize, holy crap, look at the momentum that we have. Everybody around is going to go, I don't understand why you're doing this, until about 3 weeks in, and they go, it's so much easier to work here. And then here's the other one last tip, is you're going to find that this person, the number 3, they've avoided hiring really good talent because they're scared that that's going to take their job. They black box information, they withhold information, they don't tell you everything that you need to know. And then after they leave, it's going to be like a floodgate of, this contract was missed, this relationship went down the hill, we could have acquired a division, or we could have acquired a company, we could have gotten really good talent. I get it. It's a reason to be mad, upset, and angry. But like, it's the sooner that you can get through this, the better off you're going to be. If you got to talk to HR, you got to talk to an attorney, I would encourage you to do that. But hands down, I made twice as long of a video as I normally do for a very specific reason. This happens in a lot of small family businesses. This happens in a lot of divisions. And you have to get really good at cutting out the people who are not there to do what your mission and purpose is inside of your organization. And I know that this is one of those tough conversations that nobody really wants to have until they have them. I'll be that guy, right? I've had people tell me, hey, I'm mad that you told me this, and then a year later come back and go, you were right. I'm not looking for the you were right. I'm looking for you to find ways for you to grow your business. And with that being said, sometimes it means that you're going to have a really tough conversation. I'm okay with that. Like when I have tough conversations with clients, it sounds just like this. Like, hey, listen, you've got a number 3 You've got a number 3 inside of your organization, right? They are the person who's going to slow you down. They are the people that you are trying to go uphill with a parking brake on. It's what it is. And the sooner that you can recognize who this person is and get them out of your organization in whatever way that you do that, once again, not a doctor, attorney, marriage counselor, or therapist, the better off you're going to be. It'll be like adding rocket fuel to your organization. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here. Just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, hit follow. 3, share this video with a friend. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.